5 simple clean living swaps that will make your life healthier. Healthy swap number 1 is artificial sweeteners to natural sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners are full of carcinogenic and toxic chemicals. They can actually promote weight gain, whereas most people who tend to go for artificial sweeteners are doing it because they want less calories. But studies have shown that things like aspartame can actually cause weight gain. The weight gain aside, the actual things it can do to your body is what is most concerning. The fact that it is carcinogenic, the fact that it can cause gastrointestinal disruption and things like that, it is not good for you. Swapping to natural sweeteners is much better for your body. Some good examples of natural sweeteners are maple syrup is my absolute favourite. It is packed with antioxidants and it does not spike your blood sugar like some other sweeteners do. Other good examples are agave syrup, date syrup. Date gives like a really nice caramel taste, and especially if you're buying an organic one, it's going to be really good for you. Personally, I don't use honey, but if you aren't vegan and you do use honey, then that's a good natural alternative to using an artificial sweetener. I just want to point this out. Sugar, normal white sugar, is better than artificial sweeteners. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that refined white sugar is healthy, because it's not, but it is still better for your body than an artificial product. What happens is when we consume artificial products in our body, it might do the job. It might, for example, sweeten something, and especially if you're looking for something with lower calories, it might sweeten it and it satisfies that craving, and great. But what happens is when your body doesn't know what to do with that chemical compound, it ends up getting stored in your liver as a toxin, which puts a burden on your liver. And we want to minimize anything chemicals and toxin wise that is coming into our body, which takes the pressure off your liver and enables your body to function as it should, and that is naturally. Healthy swap number 2 is table salt to either a good quality sea salt or Himalayan salt. Table salt is stripped of nutrients. It is very processed. I have got a bottle of table salt under my sink that I bought a few years ago I was making like a cleaning recipe and I was just using it in that. I looked at the ingredients a few days ago actually on that. It has an additive called sodium ferrocyanide, which straight away, the cyanide part rings alarm bells. When I Googled that, sodium ferrocyanide is generally considered as safe. But then when you read further into it and the effects it can have, if you're consuming that for a long time or you're consuming that regularly, it can cause irritation to the gastrointestinal tract, your respiratory system. It can damage your liver and kidneys and do other things in the body that a food should not be doing. Just bear that in mind when you are using table salt. Have a look at the ingredients and see. A better alternative is either sea salt or Himalayan salt. They are so much more natural, less processed, and actually still contain trace minerals that we need for our body, like magnesium, copper, iron and potassium. Not only does sea salt and Himalayan salt taste better, it is much better for our system. Healthy swap number 3 is chemical fragrances to essential oils. Now this is a big one. Chemicals in our home are so toxic, and when we are breathing these in, it is damaging our lungs, it is damaging our body. First of all, I just got to say, air fresheners are a no-no completely. They are so toxic. They're full of chemicals that are going into your lungs. They spread throughout the air in your home and they just get everywhere. That is something you want to avoid. That includes like plugins, any kind of air freshener that's in a aerosol, things like that. I just need to side note, beauty products are the same. I will do a separate video about beauty products because that is a more difficult process for people to swap, especially when you're used to having your own favourite products. This does apply to beauty products as well, but I will do a separate video about that. For now, we'll talk about in the home and things like that. If you are using air fresheners, you might want to reconsider that. There are other ways to make your home smell fresh and nice, and your car as well. Also car air fresheners, no. You can make your own fragrances out of essential oils. Essential oils are natural. They are derived naturally from plants. They smell amazing, and some people can be sensitive to certain essential oils, but that is not usual. It's not because they're chemicals, it's because maybe they've got an allergy to that particular thing. Most people are fine with essential oils. When it comes to your car, if you want your car to smell nice, you can get these. I'm going to call it a diffuser, but it might not be called that. But it's basically, I don't know if you can see this, it's got a clip and it clips into your air vent. This bit opens at the front and I can't actually get it open, so I don't know why it's stuck. It's been in the car for ages, but it comes with a circular disc in the middle, like a foam disc, and you put your essential oils on it, clip it into the air vent, and it makes your car smell fresh, especially like when the air conditioner's on and stuff, but in general, it makes your car smell fresh. Another great tip for these is if you are someone who struggles with travel sickness, or any of your children struggle with travel sickness, you can choose essential oils that are good for nausea. For example, peppermint, ginger and lavender are all good for nausea, and lemon. I'm not saying necessarily mix them all together, but find a fragrance that you like, and it can help to reduce the feeling of travel sickness when you're in the car. I have done this. I've tested it out a few years ago when we were driving to Cornwall, which is like about a 6 to 8 hour journey. Both of my daughters struggle with travel sickness, more so when they were younger, and I do sometimes as well. But when I use these particular essential oils, I think I used peppermint and ginger, and maybe peppermint and ginger, but I might have added another one in, and it really helped a lot. It prevented anyone feeling sick. That's a good tip. These you can probably get online for really cheap, but you can get replaceable foam pads that come in them, and you can put different fragrances on different ones and change them if you wanted to. Another tip for home fragrance is to get a diffuser, one that is safe to put water and essential oils in, and obviously then that's going to mist those essential oils around the room or around the house or wherever you've got it. That's another tip. And also an oil burner. Now, sorry to say this, but most candles are toxic, even non-fragranced ones. If you can get yourself some soy wax tea lights, they are far less toxic than the traditional tea lights that you buy in most shops. Soy wax tea lights, an oil burner, and you could use a carrier oil that is safe to be heated along with essential oils, and that again will release the fragrance into your home. Healthy swap number 4 is switching from unhealthy oils to healthy oils. For example, lard, vegetable, sunflower and rapeseed oil are not healthy. If you can switch over to olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil or sesame oil, then that is going to give you health benefits. There's a common misconception that fat is bad for us, and that's why you often see a lot of low-fat products, and those low-fat products are absolutely packed with chemicals, artificial sweeteners and things like that. We need fat. Our brains need fat. Our brains thrive on fat, but it's got to be the right kind of fat. So fat in itself is not bad. We need good fats, and that's why diets like the Mediterranean diet that's why Mediterranean people in general have such a healthy diet, because of the good fats they consume, like olives and nuts and seeds and things like that. Olive oil has become a bit more expensive over the last few years, but the way you've got to look at it is, what's more important, the cost or your health? Because using the right kind of oils is only going to benefit your health. Coconut oil, you can get a jar of coconut oil, organic coconut oil, for about £3 to £4, and it will last for ages depending on how much you use. Avocado oil, again, you can get a bottle about this big for £3 to £4, and I am encouraging you to switch to these kinds of oils, as long as you've not got any kind of allergies to them, of course. They make the food taste better, they are promoting heart health, they're just good for your body in general. And if you can, there's going to be times maybe when you eat out in a restaurant and you don't know whether what oil it's been cooked in. And that's okay. As long as you're making healthy choices most of the time, that's what matters. So when you're at home, you can control the oils you use. I just want to point out that I eat a very high fat diet, but it's all good fats. It's those oils I mentioned: olive, coconut, avocado and sesame. I eat loads of olives. I eat loads of nuts and seeds. And a recent blood test showed that my triglycerides, so triglycerides are a good indicator of heart health and whether you're at risk of heart problems. My triglycerides were really low, and that indicates a low fat diet. And I know my diet's not low fat. My diet is very high in fat, but it's high in the right kind of fats. So that is reflected in my blood work. So my heart is very healthy and I do eat a lot of fat. I'm not necessarily telling you to go and eat a high fat diet, because we're all different and different things work for different people. But what I am saying is, in spite of the fact that I do eat a high fat diet, because all of those fats are good, healthy fats, they are actually having a beneficial effect on my heart. So yeah, that's an easy swap. Yeah, it might be a little bit more expensive to buy certain oils, but if you use them consciously and you are committed to improving your health, then it's a no-brainer. Healthy swap number 5 is switching from counting calories to counting chemicals. If we're more concerned about counting calories, then we are not necessarily looking at whether the food is good for us or not. So many people count calories, and a lot of the time it's for weight loss and things like that. Personally, I don't count calories. I used to when I was younger, and again, it was for weight loss. And now I count nutrients instead and what I'm putting into my body that's good. I'm also aware of the chemicals in food, and that our body, as a natural human being, we can't process chemicals. We are made for natural food and natural life. And when we are putting chemicals into our body does not know what to do with them. And a lot of the time they end up being stored in the liver, which can then overburden the liver and affect your health. So when you're out and you're looking at the ingredients in food, instead of focusing on how many calories are in it, look at the ingredients and see how many ingredients are in it. Can I pronounce those ingredients? And chances are, if you can't pronounce those ingredients, then they're probably chemicals and they're probably bad for you. This applies to things like additives, other things added to food like monosodium glutamate, which is really bad for us, and artificial sweeteners, anything like that, E-numbers. If you're looking at food and it is full of them, then it's not really something that we should be consuming. Remember this, the most natural food is an ingredient itself. So for example, like an apple is an apple, it is one ingredient. Obviously, yeah, there's a chance it's been sprayed with pesticides, make sure you wash it properly. But in general, fruit and veg and nuts and seeds and things like that, they are one ingredient, and it is better, if you can, to make a meal from scratch using those things rather than buy the processed alternative. A lot of the time when people are buying like low fat meals or microwave meals, they are packed with artificial sweeteners, chemicals. There's not much nutritional value to them, if any at all. If you were to make that same meal at home, you know that it's got nothing artificial in, you know that it's got good quality ingredients, it's going to have nutrients in it, and it's going to be good for your body and something that your body can process. If you ever get stuck with things like this, you could use the Yucca app. That scans cosmetic products and food. And what I love about it is when you scan food, it will show you what the artificial ingredients are in that food, and you can then decide whether that's something you want to eat or not. The only thing I would say about the Yucca app, the one thing I don't like about it is if you scan something like healthy, like I've got a tin of organic coconut milk in my cupboard. If I scan that, it will say it's too high in fat. And the thing is with that, coconut fat is very healthy, but I'm not going to eat the whole tin of coconut milk. I use that if I'm making soups or certain curries, and that doesn't just save me, that saves multiple people. Not only that, coconut fat has got loads of health benefits. So when it comes to things like if it's saying it's too high in fat and things like that, I will take that with a pinch of salt if I know that it is a healthy ingredient. I mainly use it for the chemicals and showing what additives are in food. So that's a good tip. Even when you're shopping, you can scan the foods and it will rate it out of 100. That, I'm not saying to use that all the time, because again, that can become quite addictive, but just using your intuition and your common sense to look at the ingredients and think, if I can't pronounce that ingredient, there's a high likelihood it's going to be a chemical. If you provide your body with nutrients and natural foods, it is going to do what it needs to do. It's going to function as it should. Whereas if you're filling it with chemicals all the time, they are going to end up usually stored in your liver, which will overburden your system. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you found value in this video, please like and subscribe, and I will be back soon with more videos. Bye.